Hello, so I'm going to run through the usage of props with Vue Router instead of relying on the root parameter when it comes to getting variables from the URL into your component. There are a couple of advantages with using props. Firstly, it means that you can set your defaults and you can set your accepted types. It also means that the component is a lot more reusable, and I'll demonstrate that later. So looking on the right here, you can see we've got an imaginatively named component called new component. And what that does is it just puts out a heading one of hello, and it either puts out the name from the root parameter or just a string of Mike if it's undefined. I've mapped that to two URLs, just the home page, which is just / and / name. So if you pass in a variable, because it's got the colon there, see both of those use new component. So you can see here it says hello Mike. If we head to the URL and put Alan in there, you can see it says hello to Alan. So that's all fine, but it's not immediately clear, especially if you had a lot of computer properties and methods and stuff going on. It might not be clear to other developers that you're relying on this root parameter of name in your template. And it also means that new component can't be used within other components. So to begin with, let's add a props object with, give it a key of name. Let's give it a type of string. It will always, it will always give it a type of string from the URL, because you can't pass JavaScript objects or Boolean directly from the URL. You would have to process that to check if it is one. And we'll put our default in here of Mike. And if we then head to our template, we can then remove all of that and just do this.name, because props appear as a variable. In fact, you don't even need to do this dot, because within a Vue template, everything gets prepended with this dot. So immediately you can see our template is a lot cleaner. Heading over to the browser though, you can see that no matter what I put in the URL, you always get hello Mike, and that's because it doesn't yet know about the prop, and it doesn't believe that a prop's being passed in, so it always falls back to the default. So what we need to do is head to our Vue Router and just tell it to use props when it's passing in parameters, and that's as simple as doing props true. So give that a good old refresh, and you can see immediately Steve has appeared. If we head back to the app root, you can see it's Mike, and if we just put a Sandra in there, you get hello Sandra. So that's all well and good. Our component's working well, and as other developers, or as you, a couple of weeks later, you can see, you can come in here and you go, it accepts a parameter of name with a default of Mike. Within the template, it uses name, and then in the root, you can see that it also takes the name parameter there. So say you wanted to use your new component in Vue Router along with another component itself. A good example may be if on the homepage root you wanted to have a fixed name, but you wanted to sort of surround the component with other information. So if we just add a new component here, let's call it homepage, just for simple sake. We'll give it a nice name, and we will give it a template. Perfect, and we'll use the home page component on the home page bit. So when we say hello Sandra, we still get the Sandra. When we go back here, we get the welcome to my site. So within this homepage component, you may wish to use the new component and pass in your fixed name. with props, you're now able to do that. So the first step would be to tell your homepage component to use new component as a component, and you can now use that component in here. And it means that directly there you're utilizing this new component, but if you were to go to here, you're still using the new component. Keeping your code dry and not repeating yourself in any way, your component is able to be used in a root and within another component. So I would definitely say whenever you're using building a component that relies on root parameters, to always stick to props, because it makes your code cleaner, neater, easier to understand.